Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be basically giving you guys all the information that we have gathered about my incomplete cervix, my cervical collage situation, finding a maternal fetal medicine doctor that will actually do it, so on and so forth. This is the video that's going to explain every single thing, so hopefully it's not too long. But I do want to get all the information out there and possibly help another twin mama who is going through this, and not just a twin mama, but just another mama who in general. So I did take a week off after I posted our 20-week anatomy scan video of our twin girls. We got some news that we really weren't expecting, just because my cervix was doing so good weeks prior to the 20-week anatomy scan, and we just kind of needed to take a break and gather our thoughts, come up with a game plan, and we finally have that game plan. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys as well. Thank you guys for being so patient, and honestly, thank you guys for just the kind, sweet words of encouragement that meant the world to me, honestly. So I do have literally all of my notes on my phone, so I won't miss anything, and hopefully this video is not too long. But again, I'm gonna try to get as much information as I can possible out there to you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So Monday, April 15th, we had our 20-week anatomy scan of the girls, and they were absolutely perfect and beautiful and healthy, and everything with the anatomy scan went perfect. I'm just gonna keep saying perfect because it's just an ideal anatomy scan. They did end up missing a couple of, like, off their little checklist of things that they had to do. Babies were either not cooperating with them or they just couldn't stay still. So we ended up going back yesterday and getting all the rest of that stuff done. And then after that anatomy scan, which was on Monday, April 15th, I had another OB appointment, my 20-week OB appointment, that following Monday. And basically, after getting the news of, of my whole cervix situation, I had a game plan, and I was mentally preparing myself. Like, I knew what I wanted to talk to our doctor about. To be quite honest with you guys, I do not like this particular provider. I feel as though, like, why is she a doctor when she never has the answers to any of our questions, especially when we are scared and looking for answers? You're supposed to be like that person to give us reassurance or offer reassurance, or if you don't have reassurance, that you will just find some type of reassurance, find someone who can give us that. But the doctor that we've seen, I already didn't like her from another appointment that I had with her. She just kind of stays on her laptop, asks one or two questions, check for heartbeats, and then she's out the door. Like, it's really not personal at all. And I really like that personal feel with an OB, because one of you guys in this office will be delivering my girls. So I want to have that connection with you. And my husband feels the same exact way. He was just like, okay. So I ended up expressing my concerns with my cervix and how I wanted to go ahead and get the cervical cerclage done. The minute I said cervical cerclage, twins, whatever, she kind of just froze up, back on her computer, basically saying, yeah, these notes are stating that there's no providers in Tacoma, in the area that we live in, that are willing to do a cerclage on a mama carrying twins. Mind you, I have not had one single doctor that I have seen in our area give me a positive success story. They have only given me horror stories. They have only given me negative stories. And of course, if you give somebody that, if you only give negative information to a patient, of course, we're not going to want to do it. It wasn't until I started asking questions, it wasn't until I started doing my research, for doctors, maternal fetal medicine doctors in the area that were willing to do it. If it wasn't until I started joining Facebook groups of other mothers who were carrying twins who've had cerclages done, and they have beautiful babies. And these are the positive stories that I want. Yes, it's your job as a doctor to tell us what could happen and tell us the negative, but with those negatives, please tell me the positive, because I'm looking to you and you're only giving us negative stuff because you guys don't want to do it. So that was really scary. Like, from 12 weeks, when I found out about my cervix being shorter than average or shorter than they would like, it has been nothing but negative horror stories. And of course, my husband being in the room and you were telling us this, he's not going to want to risk our baby's lives, of course, because you're only telling both him and I both negative information. So with that information and, you know, my husband only believing what the doctors were saying, and me doing research and joining groups and asking questions and, you know, communicating with other moms who are in the same situation, it really did draw a wedge in between us, because he was like, no, I don't want this done. I want to just continue doing what we're doing with bed rest and progesterone, which we have been doing, but I feel as though, like, with my cervix continuing to shorten, it's at a fast rate, then it's kind of like I don't want to lose my babies beforehand. I'm currently 22 weeks pregnant. I turn 23 weeks pregnant next Monday. So yeah, I'm 22 weeks and like 3 days right now. So yeah, that drew a huge wedge in our marriage. Not our marriage, but basically with this whole entire thing, just because we were only given one side of the story. So after communicating with her, she really didn't have a lot to say, being around the bush, so on and so forth. And my husband's not the kind of person to get upset and show his irritation to people. My husband can hold his composure. I personally cannot hold my composure, especially when I'm basically asking you for like a last resort. He was visibly annoyed. Like, my husband kind of person, if he has questions, he's gonna ask you, which he had so many questions for our OB at the time. And once he started hearing her be around the bush, he was just done. He was just like, okay, well, you know, you're not gonna help us out, then I'm gonna save these questions for somebody who is willing to hear us out and help us out. So he was already visibly annoyed, and he just was quiet. And after a while, I just said, okay, the doctor said that she was going to send out a referral to a maternal fetal medicine doctor in Seattle, which is about an hour away from where we are now, and see if they can see us. And she put the referral in stat. This was on a Monday, and I was so hurt and so irritated because I had from my ultrasound that Thursday, you know, I was just so down, and, you know, I wanted some kind of pick me up with our appointment on Monday. We did not get that. So I was already hurt with it. And, you know, after that appointment, we were on our way to pick up our daughter Ava from school, because it's around that time. And on the way there, I'm already on my phone doing research of my own about the doctors that they are trying to refer us to, because honestly, I don't want my time to be wasted. I don't want to drive an hour away from our home just for this doctor to tell us, no, we don't do it, right? So I ended up getting the number to their office. I called, was able to speak to a nurse, and the nurse who I spoke to was really, really sweet. But I had blatantly asked her, I said, hi, my name is Kanji. My doctor has put in a referral in to see you guys. It's probably not in the system right now, but I personally just want to know if there's a provider there that has done a twin cerclage And if so, you know, can you give me some information on that? She talked to me for a little bit. She got my due date and, you know, all the information that I could possibly give her at the time. She put me on hold. She asked the provider who was there with her, the provider that was on call or in the office, came back on the phone and she told me, no, I'm sorry, the provider here does not do twin cerclages. And I was just like, thank you so much for not wasting my time. And then she was all like, hey, do you still want us to give you a call and schedule an appointment once your referral comes in, or do you just not want that? And at the time I was on speaker, my husband, who was still annoyed from my OB appointment, he was all like, yes. So I'm like, okay, thank you so much. And again, so discouraged. Like, I was just so hurt and discouraged the whole entire time. At this point, after we got our daughter, we went home and I kind of just did my research, finding doctors. I was so willing to find a doctor that was probably not even in our state at this point in time, like a doctor that was somewhere that would do this cerclage for us and give our daughters their fighting chance. If you guys can hear, they are mowing the lawn once again. I feel like they mow these freaking lawns every single day, and it's annoying at times, especially when I'm trying to record, because this is really the only time I can record when my son's actually napping. So at my anatomy scan, my cervix was measured at a 1.61 centimeters, and that was shocking for us because a week prior it was at a 2.5 2.6 range. So for me, it went down that much, meaning that my cervix was just shortening at a unbelievable rate, and that scared me because I don't know when my cervix is going to give out. And also with that, you can physically see the baby funneling inside my cervix, and that's scary because the weight, the pressure, and these, I have two of them in my belly, so they're only going to get bigger. And baby A just honestly loves being low and in my pelvis. She has not moved. She's always head down. Every ultrasound, she's head down, literally right on top of my cervix. So, and it's not her fault. And I don't blame her. That's just how she wants to lay. That's how she's comfortable. So with doing my research and asking other mothers who were in my position, they have all had cerclages much sooner, 17 weeks, 15 weeks, you know, while pregnant with twins, and they were able to keep their babies in until 36, 37 weeks after their cerclage was removed. And that is ideal for me to give birth around 36, 37, maybe even 38 weeks. So that gave me a lot of hope. And at this point, I wasn't just going to take no for an answer, because I'm going to do whatever I can physically possible for my baby girls. Right now, as far as treatment, I'm still taking the vaginal progesterone. I'm on pelvic rest and modified bed rest, and my husband, who was supposed to be training, is actually home with me and helping me out around the house. He has taken the whole load of our household off of my shoulders, which I'm so very thankful for, because he was supposed to be gone for a month and some change. I don't know how I would have been able to do it with childcare, getting my daughter back and forth to school, picking her up, having a 2-year-old that's home with me. It was just going to be extremely hard, and he's here. And even though his job gave him an extremely hard time about him staying back, he's staying back and he's helping me out as much as he can. April 24th, we had another cervical length check, and also we kind of just finished up our anatomy scan. Basically, the things that they missed with the girls at our 20-week appointment, they were able to catch up on and pretty much knock all off of the list at our appointment yesterday. And when they did the cervical length, there was no changes to my cervix. My cervix actually grew. It was a 1.68 instead of a 1.61 centimeter in length. And that gave me a breath of fresh air. Like, I was honestly thinking that there was not going to be a cervix to measure. I was so scared, and I didn't even look at the monitor, to be quite honest. Like, I had my husband's hand and he was looking at the monitor, And I just didn't look at him. I didn't look at anything. And then when I finally asked her, I'm like, okay, so what's the length? And she said, it's a 1.68. That's what I'm getting. And now that's, even though it's still in the one range, it's better than last time. But I am still pretty much, you know, headstrong over, you know, going to get my cerclage done. So that was good. Both of my girls. It's crazy because it's only been a two week difference, and oh my god, they are so beautiful and so perfect, and they're so big. And one of the little steps that were missing on the anatomy scan was to see, check their nose and their lips for cleft palates and stuff. And she, I don't know how she did it. She was able to get the ultrasound on baby B's face, and oh my god, she has her daddy's lips, and she looked like almost identical to our son Ansel when Ansel was at that age in my stomach. And I just kept looking at her, and I was about to cry because like I'm like, wow, like these little girls have these facial features, and even though like they're still, you know, 22 weeks, like their faces are chunky and their lips are just so defined. And the fact that I was able to look at her and say, oh my gosh, she looks like our son, that was crazy. Even my husband was just like looking like, wow, she does have my lips. Baby A, of course, it's always one that cooperates and one that doesn't. She cooperated for all of the anatomy scan, but she didn't cooperate when it was time to check for you know, to see what she really looked like. And we didn't do that in 3D. We did that only in 2D. But I don't know. It was really, it was, you know, it was perfect. And I'm currently waiting to do a 3D ultrasound, hopefully before I leave for our trip, hopefully. So back to the story. I called Seattle's maternal fetal medicine on April 15th. About 2 or 3 days later, I get a phone call when I was on my way to pick up my daughter from school, and it was a nurse calling to schedule an appointment. And I was all kind of confused, and I'm all like, I know my husband and I told you guys to call us back, but what is the point? What is the point of you guys even wanting us to come when there's no providers there that will do the choclage for us? And she was all like, who told you that? I'm like, well, I called Monday. She was like, oh no, the provider that was here Monday doesn't feel comfortable doing cerclages. But there's a provider that travels. He's in and out of the office. He has done twin cerclages. He actually wants to see you. He's looked over your medical record, your notes and everything. And he wants to do his own test. And he wants to do a consultation with you guys. And he wants to do a 2.5 hour ultrasound on the babies, on your cervix, so on and so forth. And I'm all like, so he has done twin cerclage? And she's like, yes ma'am. The part of the doctor that you're asking about doesn't do them. So of course the answer was going to be no. But I'm all like, I said, is there any provider in that clinic that does them, yes or no? And they got my hopes down. But anyways, they scheduled me for May 1st, and I am nervous because May 1st is next week. It's literally a week away. As I'm filming this, it's like 6 days away. So I am so nervous, but I just don't want this to be a waste. Like, if this man says, well, we can't do nothing, I will seriously just walk out of there. Like, you guys wasted 2 weeks of time where I could have found a provider somewhere in the state of Washington that was willing to do this. Not trying to be negative, but when it comes to my kids, I don't like time wasted. And I think any mother, any parent will feel the same way. So yeah, my husband's gonna come with me. Ansel's actually gonna come with us as well, and it's just gonna be like a day. Our appointment is at like a 1 o'clock, so we have to leave here like an hour and some change early, just expecting traffic and lunch traffic and getting there. And we had to make arrangements for Ava to be picked up from school by one of our friends. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I'm terrified about what the future holds, and I pray to God that I do get my cerclage and that everything just kind of works out with it. I wouldn't say, I would say that I'm very passionate about this because I personally don't like pain. I don't like putting myself in medical procedures if it's non-necessary. But in my case, I'm doing this for my girls, and I feel as though it's very necessary. Like I'm gonna be in pain after my cerclage. And if you know me, I have a low pain tolerance. I'm so uncomfortable with pain. So I'm doing this. I'm going through a painful procedure for my daughters because I want to give them the best outcome humanly possible. And I have a mental goal of 25 weeks. If we can make it past 25 weeks, then we're good. Like their chances of surviving is just gone up. And I would never forgive myself if I just took no for an answer and just sat and waited for something bad to happen, knowing that there's so many things that could have been done. So if you're watching this all the way through and you have had doctors tell you, no, I can't do this, get a second opinion. Get a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Get a second opinion, please. Don't just take no for an answer and just sit. Don't do that, because you will never forgive yourself if something were to happen and you know that you didn't try your all. And that's exactly what we're doing. If this doctor somehow tells us no, we're gonna keep trying because our daughter's lives are just as, sorry, my camera stopped recording, but like I was saying, our daughter's lives are just as important as anyone else's, and that's how we are viewing it. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this gave you guys some kind of information and some updates for us, just because I feel as though like these next couple of weeks are kind of going to be rolling by really fast, and I'm trying to stay up to date and give you guys the courage and the motivation, and as well as, you know, a raw feel of what we're going through. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.